We have another escape game to play today. This is Escape from Dead Town by Professor Puzzles Games. It is a quick fire escape room. It is only supposed to take 45 minutes, so I guess that is quick. It says race to escape the undead in this immersive zombie escape room puzzle game. It is for 1 to 4 players ages 12 plus. Let's go and check out the back of the box here. It says, Hour 42 of the outbreak. Supplies are dwindling, morale is low, and the streets are now filled with the moaning, shuffling, flesh-hungry undead. Your only shot at escaping the outbreak in one piece is to get to the military pickup point and hitch a ride to the safe zone. It's a no-brainer. Isn't that clever? Inside the lid it says, get ready to make your escape. The puzzles can be solved in any order, however it is important that each player attempts to solve each puzzle individually. Story and how to play open first. September 28th, 9:47 a.m. It's been exactly 42 hours since the outbreak. 1 minute you are worrying whether you had enough time to grab a coffee on the way to work, and the next you're holed up with your coworkers in a stationery cupboard trying to come up with a way to weaponize paper clips. Whether it all started with toxic waste, brain parasites, or even bites from mutant monkeys, one thing is clear. Death isn't quite as finite now as it once was. The streets outside are filled with the undead, and just one little nibble from any of these things will turn you into a moaning, groaning, flesh-eating zombie too. While out on a scouting mission, you spot a map of town pasted to a wall with a graffitied message of hope. Military extraction point. Transport to the safe zone. Zombie-free. With supplies quickly dwindling, making your way through town and getting to the extraction point is the group's best shot at survival, but the journey won't be easy. You'll need to get supplies, track down the exact location, and avoid running into the flesh-eating horde roaming the streets. Will you all make it there in one piece, or will you fall victim to the outbreak? So we are going to solve some puzzles. If we were playing in a group, individuals would solve them individually, and that would help decide their fate. At the end, we're going to collect these pieces of the map and then decide which exit route we're going to take. So depending on which exit route we pick, we're either going to survive or not. All right, so the first thing we're going to find inside the box is this town map. Since 1932, it's Livingville, population 53,594. Any of those numbers could be important. I like this tagline here. Everyone in town is dying to meet you. It's blood splattered on the back. There is a bit of a brochure informational feel on this inside cover. For the Botanical Gardens, with some hours, a message from the mayor which reads, Livingville has long lived in the shadow of the Yuzna nuclear power plant located a breezy 5 miles to the north of our lovely township. Reports of illegal nuclear waste dumping, airborne toxic contaminants, and secretive radiation testing have been propagating through the town in recent months. So I must reassure you, as your elected mayor, that these rumors hold no truth. Our waters are clean, our air is clear, and there is no boogeyman hiding in the shadows. Together, keeping Livingville nice. And then we have a train timetable here. Not sure if any of those numbers will become relevant. Try and keep that in mind. Here is the map. So, military extraction point, transport to the safe zone, zombie free. We have a number of different locations that could be the military transport that we need, and we're going to have to figure out which one it is by solving all the puzzles here in the box. I guess we'll just do them in order, starting with the pharmacy. I like this cover. It's got some zombies in the front. Let's go ahead and open it up. Well, inside, first we have a hint option, and then we have some papers. All right, so we have zombie repellent, 4 pages. We have some barcodes, and I guess the instructions here. On your way through town, the sound of groaning, shuffling, brain-hungry zombies is never far behind. If only there was a way to make them leave you alone. As luck would have it, you spot a pharmacy advertising a newly concocted zombie repellent. As you enter, you find that the undead have already overrun the store and moved on. Clearly there was a problem with the repellent formula. The pharmacist's notes show that she was aware that the chemical amounts were wrong. If you can get the numbers right, you could finish the job and be zombie-free for a couple of hours. Solve this puzzle by using your multiplication skills to find out which number each chemical vial represents. Each vial represents a number from 0 to 9. To find the location of the correct exit, follow the directional clue from the number that represents the red Z bottle. There are 4 of these clue pads because we can have up to 4 players, but since it's just us, I think we only need the 1. Now, we do have a number of different zombie formula bottles, or ingredient bottles, I guess they are. Not sure that the back is any help. Kind of shows the labels: Creep Chews, Deadite, Night 90. And now we have to figure out which numbers go through what, basically using multiplication math puzzle. I have to admit here that my camera died while I was filming this puzzle, and I am at my second go-round of this. So I've had a little bit of time to think about it, and let me explain to you what I think I've figured out. So basically we need to figure out what this Z number is using these mathematical formulas. Things can end in a single-digit number or double-digit number, but I think a lot of that, is going to take a long time to figure out. So what we can deduce easily is anything multiplied by 1 would be the same thing. So if this were 1 times the yellow bottle, it would be the yellow bottle. But we have the same formula down here. It could be 1 times this black bottle equals this black bottle. The only other option it could be is if one of these is a 0. If this is 1 and this is any number, then these would have to be 0 because it would be anything times 0 equals 0. But I guess we're wondering though, if this were the 1 times something equals something, then this could be anything times 0 equals 0. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hint. Okay, I think we are not on the right track. So we have, this is 0. So anything times 0 equals 0, right? So in this case, this could still be anything. All right, the walker is 4. It could still be a 1. 1 times 0 is 0. But I think that means one of these has to be a 1, which means this one is probably a 1. I've come up here with a list of multiplications of all the numbers that could end in 40 something. And this last number will be repeated in the multiplication. So if it were 45, it could be 9 times 5 is 45. It cannot be 9 times 4. That's not even in the 40s. It could be 6 times 8 is 48. So that's a possibility. And then 8 times 5 is 40, so that won't work. 7 times 7, that won't work. It doesn't match. 7 times 6 doesn't have the repeating number. So, but we know that's a 4. This is also a 4 here then. 4 times something is something else. We have a number of possibilities that this could be that could fit that solution. So that is not helpful. All right, for this one, we have a couple of combinations it could be. All right, so I'm doing a little bit of trial and error, and I see obviously I didn't recognize this at the beginning. So whatever these multiply to are the same as these. Oh, and then those are those. And that's going to help. So Right now I'm trying, if this were a 7, that would be 28. 2 times 8 is 16, so that could possibly work. If that were an 8, this would be 32. 3 times 2 is 6, so that doesn't work. If this were 4 times 9, that would be 36. 3 times 6 is 18, so that could possibly work as well. And this is 2, 8, 1, 6. And this is 6. 1 times 6 is 6. I have to see what numbers we have used. So we've used, in this case, 0, 4, 7, 2, 8, 6, 1. So we still have a 3, and a 5, and a 9. We could do 9 times 5. Here, that would satisfy it. 9 times 5 would be 45. So all of that would work, which would mean that this is 3. But I want to make sure. So the other option, this could have been, is 4 times 9. So if this were 9, this would be 36. 36. 3 times 6 is 18, so this would be 8, 8. And then we have to figure out what is missing in this case. All right, so we're missing a 2, a 5, and a 7. So would any of those combinations satisfy this equation? The highest combination we can get in this instance is 7 times 5 is 35, but this is definitely a 4. So our original option was correct. 3. The answer is 3. So if 3 is the correct label, it says north of hospital. Going back to our map here, we want to be north of the hospital. I'm assuming north is up, so we're going to be looking for numbers in this range. Our next puzzle is from the Livingville Department of Defense quarantine area. No entry without protective equipment. Let's put our hint aside. We're probably going to need it based on that last one. It was a little difficult. We have some strips of paper. Your search for the extraction point brings you to a quarantine area in the center of town. The undead have already overwhelmed the site. But surely the officials here would have had critical information on the extraction in case they couldn't contain the outbreak. Your only lead lies in a shredded official document you find at the zone's checkpoint. Fitting the pieces together suddenly feels crucial, but where to start? Solve this puzzle by piecing together the shredded document revealing the correct order of the red letters. To find the location of the correct exit, follow the directional clue revealed after assembling the shredded report. And we have our confidential report. I love putting puzzles together, so I liked this. Let's see what it says. Confidential report classified, safe for public distribution. Key points, read, don't panic, trust the authorities. If bitten, do not attempt to contact loved ones. Do not shield the infected from the law. Seriously trust the authorities. The T here is in red. There are a few red letters. Let's come back to that. There is no cause for alarm. If you believe yourself to be infected, please remain calm. Isolate yourself from the non-infected and restrain yourself if possible. Rescue and medical relief are coming. All signs indicate that the effects of this virus should pass after 2 to 3 weeks. The incubation period varies, but generally lies between 4 and 24 hours. If you are unable to quarantine yourself, please report to the nearest military quarantine area. This is located at of course there's a burn mark, There, military personnel will deal with you and your medical needs as necessary. Remember, don't panic. If bitten, do not attempt to contact loved ones. Do not shield the infected from the law. Trust the authorities. All official quarantine areas can be identified by the following yellow and black sign. The nearest military quarantine area is located at, of course it's burned, Avenue. Essentials will be provided. If you believe yourself to be infected, abandon your current whereabouts and report in for exceptional care. Strictly confidential. Do not disseminate. There is no official explanation of the events that have caused the dead to walk. Initial investigations, the possibility of a viral fungal infection, have not produced results. It is only known that there is no cure. We recommend distributing the attached letter to contain the outbreak as best as possible until further support arrives. Infected persons must not be allowed to roam free. It is of vital importance that we downplay any hysteria or talk of mob are the first and only lines of defense, whatever the cost. So this arrow says read in red, and we have the red letters. So if we start from the top, let's take out my notebook again. We've got an H, F, R, I, L. There's a T here. O, A, U, O, S, B, Y. I was hoping that would read a word or something, but it obviously doesn't. So where do we go from here? To find the location of the correct exit, follow the directional clue revealed after assembling the shredded report. So we're looking for a direction. First thing I think of, so north, south, east, and west. If we go for north, there's no north, but there is, I think, south. S-O-U-T-H. South. O-F. Of. South of what? These are the different locations we can choose from. There is a Y, and I think it's kind of clear what it is already. L-I-B-R-A-R-Y. South of Library. Just out of curiosity, let's see what the hint was. The document has been cut at a slight angle. Line the document up straight, not the strips. I'm not really sure that would have made any difference in this. Next up, we have the Livingville Hospital. Inside, we have a number of name badges, our hint, and the instructions. On your way through town, you decide to stop by the hospital to pick up some medical supplies. Making your way through the halls of this now deserted building, you came across an open office with military documents scattered everywhere. It appears that this was the Army's base for investigating the outbreak. You spot an official military ID printer. This might come in handy for getting access to the military pickup point. You press a few buttons on the printer and it whirs into action, printing pass after pass. You start to panic. You only need one pass. How will you know which one will give you the best chance of survival? Solve this puzzle by choosing the correct ID that matches up with all the clues given to you in the office. To find the location of the correct exit, follow the directional clue on the reverse of your chosen ID. So it looks like on this image, chopper extraction on the 28th, do not miss. Okay, printer ID has an ID code listed here. Got a few names listed up here. O'Banion, Russo, Fulci, Campbell, and G. Fulci again. Authorizing officers would be Danny Booth and Robert Everett. So here we have the ID cards. This is Simon Wright, Non-infected, issued March 13th of 2014, expires February 13th, 2022. Now from our instruction booklet, today's date is September 28th. And it is 2020, according to this calendar. So this one is still good and valid. Let's put that aside. We have Brian O'Banion. September 27th was the expiration date, so this is expired. Let's get rid of that. Another Brian O'Banion. This one expires in 2022, so this one's still valid. Another Brian O'Banion. This one was issued by Robert Everett. So this one that we have expired was issued by Robert Everett. Here's another one by Robert Everett. It's still valid as well. Barbara Russo, it's valid, but it's a possible carrier, so we are going to put him aside, or her aside. Sam Campbell, authorized by Donnie Booth. Donnie Booth, non-infected. It looks like it's still good. Sam Campbell, non-infected, still good. Barbara Russo. So, looking at the old Barbara Russo, she was a possible carrier. So we are not going to use that one. Lastly, we have George Fulci, approved by Danny Booth, non-infected, November 3rd. It is still valid. So how do we figure out which of these people is going to be the right card to take? So Simon Wright is not on the lunch rotation. So I'm not sure if that means he's too good for the lunch rotation. I'm gonna assume maybe he's no longer there. Robert Everett's signature looks correct. Danny Booth's signature has Robert Everett's signature on it instead. So I think we can get rid of this one. So I'm left with these four, and I just noticed that this one is issued October of 2020, so it's not valid yet. We can get rid of that. I can't imagine if we're issuing this badge in 2020, that would probably invalidate this one from 2013, which just leaves 2 badges left to go. So I guess since Fulci only has to do the lunch rotation once, he's probably a higher rank. It's the only reason I can guess to get rid of Sam Campbell. Let's check the hint to see if we're on the right track. Today is the day of the chopper extraction. Well, yeah, I got that. Okay. I'm just going to have to guess that this one is correct. North of police station. That brings us to our final puzzle with these creepy zombie guys. On your way through town, you turn a corner and come face to face with another group of survivors. Stunned, your mind is suddenly overwhelmed with panicked thoughts. What if they try to steal your supplies? What if they've been bitten? It's safe to say that you're all looking to part ways as soon as possible. To continue on your route, both your group and theirs needs to cross the street, but it's filled with zombies. If you move slowly and in small groups, you should be able to cross the street without alerting the undead. Like it or not, you're going to have to work together to get to the other side safely. Solve this puzzle by using rules on the reverse to figure out the lowest number of crossings needed to get everyone across the street. Crossing rules. No more than 2 survivors can cross the street at a time. The street must be crossed each turn, starting on the left, crossing to the right side, and then on the next turn, crossing back over to the left. Your group cannot be outnumbered by members of the rival group on either side of the street at any time. We have our street scene. Rival survivors, your group, start this side. And here's the extraction side. So I needed to use the hint to get us started on this one because I kept getting hung up here thinking I had to move 2 at a time, but that's not the case. We don't have to move 2, we can move only 1 at a time. So let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is east of the ice cream store. So we have north of the hospital and south of the library, and east of the ice cream store puts us in this row. It's one of these 2. We also have this north of the police station one, which I think we have deduced incorrectly. But in any case, we have 2 options here. It's numbers 2 and 9. Let's go ahead and open up the extraction this way. Do not open until you are ready to make your escape. We have 4 different helipads here. Oh no, we have lots of different helipads here. We want either 2 or 9. I'm going to go with lucky number 2. Let's see. You escaped! As you turn the corner, you spot the chopper preparing for takeoff. Frantically, you race toward it, and the pilot spots you just in time. As you climb aboard and settle into your seat, you let out a sigh of relief knowing that you managed to survive the outbreak. Had I picked number 9, I would have failed. As you turn the corner, you find yourself by the cemetery where a swarm of fresh zombies are clawing their way out of their graves. Your chances don't look too good. Let's go ahead and check the solutions. So this one, I wish they would explain these. I don't. Okay, it does explain it. Let's see, what did we do wrong here? I had guessed George Fulci. He had incorrect approved stamp. Oh goodness, I didn't notice that. The stamp is misspelled. Wow, that's clever. Simon Wright is not a staff member. All right, so that's, I think we figured that out. Brian O'Banion, the signature doesn't match. The Sam Campbell, fake authorizer name. Oh, it was Donnie Booth, not Danny Booth. This was the correct Sam Campbell. This is the pass that expired. She's the potential carrier. This has an incorrect printer ID. I didn't even notice that one. This is the one that was not yet valid. So if we had guessed that correctly, it would have been west of Town Hall. The pharmacy puzzle. So this has to be 1 since any number multiplied by 1 will equal itself. This one I still don't understand. I'm not sure I would have gotten it with the clue. This has to be 1 since any number multiplied by 1 will equal itself. See recipe 2. Right, but that's the same situation right here. This was 0 since any number multiplied by 0 will equal 0. I'm not sure I still understand how that was different. Okay, in any case. All right, I unscrambled these letters. I did not put it in this order. I guess if we had done that by each individual strip, that would have worked. Just goes to show if you're not in the same mindset of the creators, you're not going to get this. And here are the 11 crossings that we figured out as well. So we have north of the hospital and south of the library. We had that correct. West of Town Hall, we did not have that one. East of ice cream store. I do wish they had better hints. I like the other escape games that give you a series of hints and then solve it for you. It kind of makes it a little bit easier if you get stuck not following the author's mindset in terms of how they're wanting you to solve the puzzles. So that was Dead Town. It looks like they do have other escape games. Not sure any of them are exactly horror-filled that I enjoy, but we'll try and find some of those to keep us entertained as we make our way toward Halloween. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, be sure to check out a link to my Patreon page in the description below. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to see more escape games, we've got a few of those coming up as we get closer to Halloween. And we have lots more Halloween content on the horizon. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more DIYs, product reviews, store walkthroughs, and more. Till then, happy escaping.